The divide among Democrats taking a pretty dramatic turn. A DNC vice chair is now leading an effort to primary the Democrats that he was going to be raising money for within that organization. You may remember David Hogg. He survived the high school shooting that killed 17 students and teachers in Parkland, Florida, 7 years ago. He's now 25 and tells the New York Times that he knows his plan will make people mad. But, quote, more than anything, it is, do you want to roll over and die or do you want to fight? And too many people look at our party right now and feel like we want to roll over and die, he says. We're hearing a similar message from AOC as some Democrats urge her to primary Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
I want you to look at every level of office around and support brawlers who fight, because those are the ones who can actually win against Republicans.
All right, with that, we bring in Jason Chaffetz, former House Oversight Committee chairman and now a Fox News contributor, and Patrick Murphy, former Pennsylvania Democratic Congresswoman, Iraq War veteran, and served as the acting Army Secretary. Great to have both of you with us. Patrick, let me play this from James Carville and then get your thoughts on everything that we just heard. Watch this.
Sure. They believe that they are the wave of the future, that people like me are old, antiquated. I don't think we can work together on pronoun politics. Maybe we can have a amicable split here.
How's that going to work out, Patrick?
Well, I mean, I think what James Carville is saying is that it's about the economy, stupid, right? That just like it was when Bill Clinton won in 1992. And I think that's what, don't let like those social issues divide us. It's about kitchen table issues, about moving our country forward. And frankly, Martha, we do need a new generation of leaders. You know, when Jason and I served in Congress together, Jason, was in his third term. He became the chairman of the Oversight Committee. He was in young 40s. They didn't make him wait 2 decades in the Republican Party. When I led the bill to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I was 33, just back from Iraq, because we kicked out 13,000 troops because of who they loved. And they didn't make me wait 2 decades. So I think we do need a new generation of leaders, and I applaud what's going on.
So with regard, Jason, with regard to David Hogg, put him in that same boat. That's what he wants to do, even though, I'm seeing a lot of pushback of people who think that he's, sort of a cult of his own personality, perhaps. Some Democrats suggesting that out there in some of these, the reporting. But he wants to shake it up. Is that the right motivation?
Well, they got to do something different. I mean, if you want different results, you got to do some things differently. And look, the problem with the party is they don't have a cohesive message. Brawling in it to itself, as AOC lays it out, is not a strategy to win. And look, Republicans went through some of these same gyrations after the loss with Mitt Romney, but it was a strong personality like Donald Trump brought disparate parts of the party back together, and it worked. But right now, the Democrats leaderless, and they don't have a cohesive message.
So, Patrick, who's your Donald Trump?
I think they're emanating from the states. I think, Martha, you're seeing people like Governor Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Governor Westmore in Maryland. These are leaders that are stepping up and taking action. They're not talking about things. They're getting things done, and that's what the American people want. They're tired of the talk. They're tired of the debt. They're tired of the jobs being outsourced overseas. They want to make things in America again. They want to move our country forward, not backwards.
All right, let's play this from Nancy Pelosi about justifying her actions, forcing Biden out of the race after we heard from the former president just for the first time really last night. Watch this.
I love him. I respect him. I respect his family and all the rest. But it was at a point where we had to win the election.
Quick thought from each of you, Jason?
Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it, Nancy? Look, this is the problem. They don't play a fair game on the Democratic side of the aisle. They propped up Joe Biden, pushed him into the lead to take the nomination the first time, and then the second time they kicked him to the curb. They didn't play fair ball. Ask Bernie Sanders about that one.
Patrick?
Martha, like Speaker Pelosi, I love Joe Biden, but the reality is we all know he lost his fastball. It was time for a new candidate, a time for a new generation leader. We came up a little short. We lost by 1.5%. And now let's try and govern together. But we got to focus on kitchen table issues for Americans. Stop the partisanship. Let's come together. Let's move the ball forward. and let's stop the craziness from the far left and the far right.
All right, we'll be watching. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Jason, Patrick, always good to see you. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.